Man, you ever have one of those days where the world just seems out to get you? Like it's testing how much you can take before you snap? That's where this story starts, right in the middle of a blistering summer day in the dusty streets of Redstone, a nowhere town where the asphalt shimmers and tempers run hotter than the sun. Ellie Kane, she's our girl here, just a bike courier trying to make a buck, pedaling through the heat with a bag of burritos and burgers, sweat dripping down her neck, when Boom Jake Hawk Ramsey, the big shot leader of the Iron Vipers biker crew, steps right into her path like he owns the damn street. Ellie's weaving through traffic, her bike wobbling under the weight of her delivery bag, when Jake 6 foot something, leather jacket gleaming, tattoos crawling up his neck, plants himself square in front of her, his boys cackling behind him like a pack of hyenas. "Hey, sweetheart, you lost or just stupid?" He sneers, his voice all gravel and menace, the kind that makes your skin crawl. Before Ellie can even blink, he shoves her hard. Her bike clatters to the pavement, tires spinning, and her delivery bag splits open, tacos and fries spilling out like some sad buffet on the ground. The Vipers lose it, laughing so loud it echoes off the brick walls of the old warehouse district. Ellie, though, she doesn't say a word. She drops to her knees, scooping up soggy fries and a busted plastic container of salsa, her hands moving fast but steady, like she's done this 100 times. Her eyes, though man, her eyes are ice cold, flicking up at Jake for just a second, and there's something in that look that makes his smirk twitch, like he's not sure what he just stepped into. Now, Redstone's the kind of place where everybody knows everybody's business, and this little scene? It's got an audience. Across the street, a couple of construction guys on their lunch break are watching, one of them muttering, "That's messed up," while a kid with a skateboard's already got his phone out, filming the whole thing, probably dreaming of viral clout. "Yo, she's getting roasted," he yells to his buddy, who's zooming in on Ellie like she's some kind of circus act. But there's this old dude, Carl, a mechanic with grease stains older than half the town, shaking his head. "That girl's got steel in her," he says, low enough that only the guy next to him hears. Nobody else notices the way Ellie moves when she stands up, smooth and precise, like she's dodging a punch she saw coming a mile away. That's not just a courier's reflex, that's something else, something trained. So Ellie zips her bag, rights her bike, and Jake steps closer, his boots thumping like he's trying to scare her into shrinking. "This is Viper turf, kid," he growls, leaning in so close she can smell the cigarette smoke on his breath. "You deaf or what?" Ellie meets his eyes, just for a heartbeat, and says, quiet but sharp, "I got work to do." It's not loud, but it lands like a blade, cutting through the noise. Jake's grin falters, just for a second, before he waves her off with a laugh that's a little too forced. "Get out of here, rat," he spits, but as Ellie pedals away, you can tell he's rattled, like he just lost a game he didn't know he was playing. Next day, Ellie's back at it, cruising through Redstone's industrial sprawl, dropping off sandwiches near a dive bar called Rusty's, where the Vipers like to hold court. The place is all chipped paint and neon signs that flicker even in daylight. Jake's sprawled out front, boots up on a crate, cigarette dangling, his crew passing around a flask like they're auditioning for some bad biker movie. He spots Ellie and grins, all teeth, like a shark smelling blood. "Yo, delivery chick, bring that bag over here," he calls, pointing at the ground like she's his personal servant. Ellie slows, checks her order slip, and says, flat as a board, "Your name ain't on this." Jake's face darkens, and he stands, slow and mean, brushing right up against her shoulder to make her stop. "You don't talk to me like that," he says, his voice low, like he's daring her to push back. One of his crew, a wiry woman named Tara with too much eyeliner and a laugh like a chainsaw, chimes in from the bar's doorway. "What's with the get-up, honey? You borrow that jacket from a hobo." The Vipers crack up, their voices bouncing off the walls, but Ellie doesn't flinch. Her fingers tighten on her handlebars, and she scans the space-dew parked Harleys, a narrow gap between them. In one clean move, she slips through, her shoulder brushing a bike just enough to make it rock. Tara's laugh chokes off, and one of the guys mutters, "Did she just?" Jake's jaw clenches so hard you can hear his teeth grind, and he kicks over the crate, sending it skidding across the pavement. Ellie's already gone, pedaling steady, leaving them in her dust. By day 3, the air's thick with tension, like the whole town's holding its breath. Ellie's locking her bike outside a corner store when Jake shows up again, his shadow falling over her like a storm cloud. "Stay out of my streets," he hisses, so close she can feel the heat of his breath. "Or you're done." He bumps her with his chest, forcing her back a step. A couple of Shapersa guy in flannel, a mom with a grocery bag watch, but don't say a word. Ellie straightens, her eyes locking onto his, and for one long second, it's like the world stops. Then she grabs her bag and walks into the store, leaving his threat hanging in the air like smoke. Inside, under the hum of fluorescent lights, the cashier, a woman named Marla with tired eyes and a kind smile, leans over. "You're that courier, right? The one who stood up to those vipers." Ellie pauses, hand on a loaf of bread, and gives a small nod. Marla's voice softens. "My kid got pushed around by guys like that. Wish he'd had your guts." Ellie doesn't answer, just tucks the bread into her bag, but as she heads for the door, Marla slides a candy bar across the counter. "On me," she says. Ellie's fingers brush it, and her lips twitch, not quite a smile, but close. She steps back into the heat, and as she adjusts her bag, her sleeve rides up, showing a black tactical glove, the kind you don't pick up at Walmart. One of Jake's younger guys, a kid named Mikey with a buzz cut and a nervous laugh, spots it. "Yo, that's like Spec Ops gear," he mutters, half to himself. Jake tries to laugh it off, but his eyes linger on Ellie's wrist as she pulls her sleeve down and rides off. That evening, Ellie's at a red light, the city buzzing around her, horns honking, streetlights flickering. Out of nowhere, Jake's bike roars up, engine screaming, and before she can move, he grabs her backpack and yanks hard. She stumbles, nearly hitting the pavement as a truck swerves, its horn blaring. Jake's laughing, his crew whooping like it's the best show in town, but Ellie's back on her feet in a flash, eyes locked on him. She strides over, grabs his leather jacket, and with a quick twist of her hips, flips him clean over her shoulder. He hits the ground hard, his bike wobbling and crashing beside him. The street goes quiet, like someone hit mute. Jake's sprawled out, chest heaving, eyes wide with shock, and his crew just stands there, mouths open. Ellie steps back, hands loose at her sides, her stare cold as steel. A passing driver slows, gawking, as Ellie picks up her bike and rides off, leaving Jake in the dirt, his pride as wrecked as his Harley. Word spreads like wildfire. At a diner the next day, Ellie's dropping off an order when a group of truckers in a corner booth start whispering. "That's the girl who dropped Hawk Ramsey," one says, smirking over his coffee. His buddy laughs. "Gotta respect the hustle." The waiter, a scrawny kid named Tim, hands her the receipt and mutters, "Don't listen to him. You're tougher than all of us." Ellie gives him a nod and walks out, the bell jingling behind her. By now, the whole town's talking baristas, cops, even the old guys at the corner store swapping stories over cheap coffee. One of them, a retired welder named Gus, saw the whole thing go down. "That girl's got more guts than half this town," he says, slamming his cup down. Someone's already posting about it online. "Courier takes down Biker King." Ellie doesn't know, doesn't care. She just keeps pedaling. But the real kicker comes at a warehouse on the edge of town, where Ellie's signing a delivery slip. The place smells like diesel and metal, trucks rumbling in and out. Jake's there, leaning against his bike with what's left of his crew, just a couple of loyal stragglers now. They're eyeing her, probably thinking they'll corner her again. Then this guy walks in, tall, broad, no flash, just a plain jacket and a presence that sucks the air out of the room. The warehouse manager, a twitchy guy with a clipboard, practically bows. "Mr. Kane," he whispers. Ellie doesn't look up, but her hand slows on the pen. The man, her dad, maybe, or someone who knows her better than anyone, steps up beside her, resting a hand on her shoulder. Jake's smirk vanishes, and his crew scatters like roaches. Nobody says a word, but the message is clear: Ellie's not alone. After that, things shift. Jake's crew falls apart. Mikey bails, saying he's not messing with that kind of trouble. Tara's clout vanishes after her snarky comments get blasted online. Even some suit in a fancy office who mocked Ellie's jacket gets a call from his boss. Contract canceled, no explanation. Redstone's starting to see Ellie for who she is. The barista at the coffee shop slides her free coffee now. A cop at a stoplight gives her a nod, like he knows her secret. The diner waitress, Barb, slips an extra slice of pie into her bag with a wink and a note. "Keep kicking ass." Ellie doesn't smile, but her eyes soften, just for a second. One night, Ellie's at a park, unwrapping a sandwich on a bench, her bike leaning against a tree. Kids are running around, chasing a soccer ball, and for a moment, she lets herself relax. She pulls out a worn photo of her, younger, standing next to a guy in a military uniform, both of them smiling. She stares at it, fingers brushing the edge, then tucks it away. The wind carries the sound of laughter, and Ellie takes a bite, her face calm, steady, like always. She's still just Ellie Kane, courier, pedaling through Redstone in her faded jacket and worn-out sneakers. But the town sees her now, really sees her. Here's the thing, though. Ellie didn't need to scream her story from the rooftops. She didn't need to throw punches or talk big. Her strength was in her silence, in the way she kept going, no matter who tried to knock her down. And that's what gets me, because haven't we all been there? Pushed around, laughed at, told we don't belong? Maybe you've got a story like that. A time you held your ground when the world was screaming at you to quit. So tell me, do you think? Was Ellie right to flip Jake like that? Or should she have walked away? How far would you go to stand up for yourself? Drop it in the comments. Hit that like button if this hit home, and subscribe so we can keep digging into stories like this about people who don't just survive, but fight back, quiet or loud, in their own way. Let's talk about it.